term successful aging just means getting here. There's a lot of people in the obituaries younger than I am. So I consider I'm ahead of the game. And that's a certain amount of success. I feel I still have my faculties. I can still think. I'm somewhat active. I can work out and do a mile on the treadmill in 14 minutes and hike a little bit and things like that. Not much of a golfer or a fisherman, so I do some photography and hike out and shoot landscapes and things like that. I like flying drones. I like flying airplanes. I'm currently in training to get signed off on a trike, which is pretty much a powered hang glider with 3 wheels. And scenic photography and flying keeps you feeling a little bit younger. When you're young, you think you have all the answers and everything, and when somebody of a certain age tries to give you advice or whatever, you just kind of fluff it off. So a lot of things that mattered when you were younger don't matter anymore. Being cool doesn't matter at all, or being stylish doesn't matter at all. A lot more forgiving with people, developed a lot more empathy since I've gotten older. I remember when I used to make fun of people my age.
Oh, really?
Yes, there were certain things, old people always in the way and things like that, but luckily, or hopefully, everybody gets here. There are things that were much easier. You have the vision problem, close-up vision, bifocal glasses. It's a problem when you're reading gauges in flight and reading the checklist and things like that, so that can be challenging. As far as hiking, my tripod weighs 13 pounds and I'm thinking of trading it in for a carbon fiber that weighs half as much, because when you're going out into the boonies to photograph a landscape, every pound matters, so I'd like to lighten the load. I got out of the Army in the 70s and had the GI Bill going for me, so I started out studying advertising and marketing, and then I switched to photography because it seemed like a fun thing to do. It was challenging, but it was great. It was all film in those days. I went to Milwaukee Area Technical College. They had a pretty good program for photography. Had all the classes, cinematography, still photography, portrait photography. It was all darkroom work at that time, which was great. It seemed like the most creative part was in the darkroom, and really enjoyed it. After school, I started a studio right away, and I had one studio fail, and started another one. That was one in our final location. We bought a large property, a large home that would be living quarters and photography studio. So we had a couple thousand square feet of studio area and a couple thousand square feet of photography area, and it was a beautiful setup. And I thought that was going to be my retirement, perhaps hire a studio manager and keep my fingers in it after I retire and so forth. But then digital photography came along and everything went south. Photography changed a lot. Everybody had a camera, and that changed my plans. So you never know. I think being in a creative field and having freedom relieves a lot of stress, because working in a work environment can be stressful. I've never had to go to meetings or worry about memos or anything like that. It was just my wife and I. I stayed mostly in the camera room. My wife took care of all of the business aspects of the business and all of the computer work. She's a longtime member of the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. She's got all the plugins and she's great at it, and I wish I would have paid more attention when she said, look at this, look what we can do here. But I never had any interest in it, and I wish I had paid more attention now. There's not as much stress when you're on your own. The only boss you have is your clients. My hope is that perhaps artificial intelligence will take over and everybody will have a phone that will guide them through their life. I think computers could do a much better job at guiding you through life than some of the people that are guiding you now. It can do a lot of things for you. It's photography, for example. You're doing things now that we only dreamed of. You have, for example, in the darkroom, to change contrast, we would make a highlight mask that you would sandwich with another negative to increase the highlight, and we did things to brighten the highlights on someone's cheek, for example, with ferrocyanide bleach, just things like that. And now you just click a button and it's done in Photoshop. It was a dream come true and a curse at the same time, because I would have been a lot better off if film would have just stayed the medium to use. I feel if you get to this point and you have your faculties, you've been successful.